Hello, my loves, and welcome back to the Can't Stop Talking podcast. We have such a good episode for you today. It is the 6 reasons people are making more money than you. I know it's juicy, but I had to make a good hook so that you would listen. And if you haven't already joined, next week I am actually hosting a free, yes, you heard that right, a free masterclass on the 3-step method to attracting soulmate clients without sales calls, sales pages, and confusing tech. I'll be hosting that August 16th at 11 a.m. PST. I'll leave the link in the show notes for you guys to join. Over 80 of you have already signed up, and I'm so excited. There will be a replay available, so I would get in there 100%. Join us. You're going to learn so much, and it's going to be so much fun. So let's get into today's episode. The first thing that people do that are making more money than you are visualize. So many famous people and successful people have used visualization to really hit all their goals, such as Jim Carrey, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Michael Jordan, Muhammad Ali, Sarah Blakely, who is the founder of Spanx. She's credited visualization with helping her achieve her entrepreneurial goals. She visualized her success and she took the action to actually get there, right? And so, how does visualization work, right? It actually reprograms your RAS, which is reticular, I think that's how you say it, activating system, to notice available resources that were there but were not obvious to you before, right? So it's just like how I start saying like a yellow Jeep and then you start seeing yellow Jeeps everywhere. Same concept, right? Your mind is like a robot. Whatever you tell it, it's going to do. So it wants to create solutions. So if you're telling it and you're visualizing that you're going to own a thriving business, it is going to find ways to bring this into your reality. It's that amazing. It's insane. Think of it as like the GPS, right? What you're visualizing is the GPS and the roadmap, and the universe, and obviously your brain is going to find the how. You don't have to do that. You just have to plug in the end result and visualize the end result where you want to go. And then the universe will do the rest. And obviously your brain will do the rest to get you there. And it's just so freaking cool. Like, I'm obsessed with this. I've heard so many stories around this. So what you could do is you can either set an alarm for 5 minutes a day and just visualize using your 5 senses. So for example, if you want to hit your first 10K month, right? What would this look like using your 5 senses? So I want you to sit down, set an alarm for 5 minutes, get in a comfortable position, and just be the author, be the painter, right? See the picture. What are you doing? What are you touching, right? Maybe you're touching your keyboard. Maybe you're opening and you feel your fingers touching the keyboard, and you open up your bank account and you see with your own eyes $10,000. And what are you hearing, right? Are you hearing like the birds outside? Or are you hearing your husband in the other room, or your roommates, or your best friend saying, "Oh my gosh, I knew you could do it"? Are you calling your parents? What are you smelling, right? Maybe you're outside and you smell the air, or you're in your room and you smell a candle burning. What are you saying out loud? Like, "Oh my gosh, I did it. I can't believe I did it," right? And so I want you to use all your 5 senses, and most importantly, get in the feeling state. Like, what does it feel like to have hit this goal? Because feelings are what manifest. And I want you to do that for just 5 minutes a day. So easy, but it does wonders. Another technique that I love is printing out a check and writing the amount of money you want to make on it, right? And so maybe that's $10,000, and I want you to write that on the check, and I want you to look at that check every single night. So many famous people have done this. I don't know if you guys know my favorite story about Jim Carrey, the comedian. I love him so much, but he famously wrote himself a check for $10 million for acting services rendered, and he dated it in 1994. And at this point, no one knew who he was, right? He would go up to the Hollywood sign and he would visualize these big name actors being obsessed with him, and these movie producers and these film people wanting him in in their movies, right? And he just visualized this and he would just go up there until he really felt it. And he went on to the Oprah show. I'm like gonna cry. And I just love the story so much. And he had kept the check in his wallet. And he went on the Oprah show and she asked him about it. And he said, what happened was in 1994 at Thanksgiving, he got a call from his agent that he would be making $10 million from the movie Dumb and Dumber. Oh, and he said when his father died, he put that check in the casket with him. So this stuff works, you guys. Like I said, Arnold Schwarzenegger has used it to visualize his bodybuilding goals, right? And his success in Hollywood and politics. He became the governor of California, someone who we never thought would, right? Michael Jordan used it. He would focus and have mental preparation. He often talks about how he visualized making the game-winning shots and how this practice contributed to his success in the court. And Muhammad Ali, he would visualize his fights and he predicted so many of his victories because he saw them before they happened. So visualization is so important. Promise me you're going to do this exercise. Next, another thing that people do that are making more money than you are they're comfortable with rejection, right? And here's the thing, you guys, rejection is actually fake. If you pitch your program to someone, right, and they don't join, then everything stays the same. They weren't in your program before you pitched it, and they aren't in your program now. So no variables are changing. But what does make you feel like rejection is the worst thing in the world is when you make up a story like, see, I knew no one wanted to buy my stupid course. When you add your thoughts to data to what happened, that's when you create a story in your head. Instead of saying, oh, that person didn't want to buy my course, the next one will. Or I will find someone that will buy my course. Chicken Soup for the Teenage Soul was rejected 140 times. 140 times. Isn't that insane? And then finally, it got picked up and it went on to sell 10 million copies after that. And so if they had said at the 140th time, like, we are giving up, this is not working, no one wants this book, then they would have never sold 10 million copies. So with rejection, I want you to think like maybe the next person is your big break, right? Maybe the next person is going to say yes, but you're never going to know because you're going to give up right where you are. So I want you to remember rejection, it's not real. It's just the meaning that you are giving to it. And I've completely changed rejection in my life. When I go out to the bars and I'm talking to boys and maybe someone's not vibing me, I'm like, oh, something's wrong with them. I've completely changed what rejection is like in my brain. And so it just doesn't happen for me anymore. And I've had so many women come into my world wanting to join my programs and then not joining that program and joining something for much more expensive in the future. And so don't take the first no and make it mean anything, right? Make it mean that you're getting way closer to your yes. Okay, amazing. So the third is they validate themselves. This is so huge. I love affirmations. I have my clients use affirmations, but basically they affirm to themselves that they are amazing, that they are the best, that their product is the best thing ever, right? And they show up with this confidence of like, you need this. Like, have you ever seen someone on Shark Tank who like gets everyone obsessed with them? They are like, this is the best thing since sliced bread, right? They show up and they're like, I know who I am. I know what my product is. Come with me or don't, but I know that, right? And so why affirmations work so well is because your self-talk actually creates your self-image, which creates your performance, the actions you're going to take. So if you talk to yourself in a great way, then you're going to view yourself, just like visualization, in an amazing way, and you're going to take action. But same thing, if I don't believe someone's going to buy my program and I'm telling myself no one's going to buy my program, then what's going to happen is I'm going to see myself as a failure and I'm actually not going to go to sell my program, or maybe I will sell my program and I just won't be confident about it, which will still, aid in not getting the results. Or I'll go and sell my offer and maybe I do sound confident, maybe I do show up, but I don't go the extra mile because I'm just like, what's the point? The difference is if someone's like, this is the best thing ever, I know people are going to buy regardless, they are going to show up, right? And they are going to tell themselves this is the best program ever. They're going to see it as the best program ever. And they are going to do everything to make sure to get the program in the hands of people who need it. So I love affirmations. I use affirmations before I grew my Instagram account. When I had 0 followers, I would affirm to myself. I would visualize people being obsessed with my, Instagram and my work, but I would say to myself, I gain 100 followers a day. Even when I had 0, I would say I gain 100 followers a day until that actually became my effing reality, which was so cool. And I started gaining 100 followers a day. But when I was saying that, I was talking to no one, right? I was talking to no one. I was validating myself. I was like, I'm the best in the industry. Everyone hangs off my every word. Like, I know that I'm meant for this. And I just really validated myself before anyone else could. The next thing, this is one of my favorite, patience. People making more money than you, they have really mastered the patience game. And I'm not kidding. This is huge. So a surprising fact that I've told people is Amazon actually took 9 years to turn a profit. Now they are one of the biggest companies in the whole wide world, right? And entrepreneurs really got good at patience in the waiting game because a lot of us, shiny object syndrome, we see these people online being like, I started 3 months ago and I'm making $500 billion, right? And we see these people and we're thinking like, why not me? Some of my favorite people in the industry, I always talk about Amanda Frances. She said she was making $0 her first year. Second year, she made like 500. Third year, she made 10,000. Now 10 years later, she's making millions of dollars, right? But if she had looked at her first year and said, oh, this isn't for me, I made $0, she wouldn't be one of the biggest in the industry as she is today. And so it's so important to wait. I remember that I was doing launches and I was giving up halfway through my launches because I was hearing crickets. And then when I finally decided to go through the whole launch, I was selling out my launches because people don't buy in the middle. They actually buy in the beginning and the end. And so when it came to my mastermind launch, I love telling the story, but I sold my mastermind launch for 45 days, like 6 weeks, 45 days every day. And for the first week, no one bought. I finally got someone in the second week, and then another week went by, no one bought. And then I got one more person in. And by the last week, I only had 2 people in. My goal was 5. And by that last week, someone joined Wednesday. I kept the faith and I visualized and I affirmed. And someone joined Friday morning. And then someone joined Friday at 9 p.m., 3 hours before the doors closed. I talked about my mastermind for 45 days. And that means 41 of the days I heard crickets, but I kept going because I didn't let my reality tell me what I was allowed to have. I told myself and I validated myself and I said, I'm going to have 5 people into my program. The fifth thing that they do when they make more money than you is they look for solutions instead of dwelling in problems, right? I heard this story of someone who was banned from TikTok. And so instead of saying, I'm going to give up, they went to YouTube Shorts and they posted, I forget how many, it was like 100 videos, something insane, or like maybe a couple hundred videos. And after a couple hundred videos, they went absolutely viral and got like 500 subscribers. So they could have said, oh, TikTok's done. I'm just going to not do my business, right? I see this happen all the time. We complain about engagement. We're like, no one's viewing our stories. Okay, why don't you go interact with your community? Why don't you go interact with other people's stories? Why don't you start a podcast so that there's another way to funnel people in so they can find you from podcasts, right? If you're not getting the views you want from your Instagram stories, there's no point in dwelling there. That's not going to do anything. That's not going to solve your problem. Your question should be, okay, if I'm not getting engagement from my Instagram stories, how can I find engagement somewhere else? The people who are making more money than you, they are problem solvers. When times change, they change. And they always are looking for a solution to the problem. And that's how they make more money than you. And the last thing you guys all know, but this is so true. And I used to think it was just people, trying to get people to sign up for their programs. I thought it was really icky, but this is true. Like, I'm not selling you anything in this podcast, right? I told you about a free masterclass. Number 6 is investing in yourself. And I've seen this with so many of my clients. I've seen this with myself that I thought that was just a load of bullshit. And I thought people were just trying to get me to sign up for their program. But when I really realized is the people who are making more money than you, they invest and they invest a lot, truly. Why? Because they invest in people who are already doing what they want to be doing. They invest in people who have their roadmap. They invest in people who have the solution. So they cut, I think of it like the fast pass to Disneyland, right? They cut the freaking line because they're learning from someone who already built a successful business. Easy. They already have the roadmap. They already have the answers. And I've had clients join my stuff and be like, oh my God, the first time they joined. I had a client join my mastermind and she went from not having clients to building out her own mastermind, having a course, one-on-one clients, signing $3,000 clients, like everything. And she was like, oh my God, I actually didn't have the money to invest in this mastermind. And I'm still so glad that I did because this shaved so many months off my life. She couldn't even believe what support and accountability and having the roadmap do for you. And that's the other thing about investing in yourself that I learned. The support and the accountability, right? You are so much more likely to hit your goals. It was a crazy statistic. If you, one, write it down, view them every day, and you also tell someone about them. So when you're held accountable, it's the same thing of, going to a workout class or getting a personal trainer. You're going to do it instead of if I told you just to work out 5 days a week at your house, right? And so these are the 6 things that people are doing that make more money than you. They're visualizing, they're getting comfortable with rejection, they're validating themselves, they're patient, they're looking for solutions instead of dwelling problems, and they're investing in themselves. I hope you love this episode. I would really, really love if you rated the podcast. It would mean the world to me. And if you like this episode, please come into my DMs and tell me which principle you liked the most out of the 6. I love you so much. Sign up for my free masterclass in the show notes. I cannot wait to see you there. And I hope you have the most amazing week.